Hi there, I am Basserat Noor. Oh, so the construction is going on and my locality and wow. Okay, so I am 19 years old, a 100 years ambassador from Pakistan. And today I am with Lucy Hayter, the director of Generation Global. And again, the noise is coming and hitting. Okay. So thank you so much for joining us today, Lucy. I am so excited to jump into this interview and find more about you and your work.
Thank you so much, Noor, for inviting me and for this opportunity to talk to you today.
So the way this interview works is that I have randomly picked some questions. Some are fun, some are personal, some are about your innovation, and some are about the future of education. So Lucy, are you ready to get right into this?
I'm ready to get started. Thanks, Noor.
Okay, so first things first, who are you and how are you making the life of a student better?
So I'm Lucy Hayter. I'm the director of Generation Global. And Generation Global is a global citizenship education program that's part of the Tony Blair Institute for Global Change. And what we're doing is we're running a program that's for 13 to 17-year-olds that enables them to learn the skills that equips them to be open-minded, global and active citizens. So we do things like the 5 core skills, which is critical thinking, active listening, global communication, reflection and questioning. And our program is designed in a fun way to engage young people, 13 to 17-year-olds, through many of our activities, but particularly our Ultimate Dialogue adventure.
Well, Lucy, that was so nice to hear that you are working so hard to enhance the skills. And my next question for you is, why do you do what you do?
Oh, I'm so passionate about global citizenship education. You know, when I think back to when I was at school, it wasn't on the agenda. And I think 21st century skills, understanding your global peers, being able to interact with global peers, to develop social and emotional skills, critical thinking skills, is a lifelong learning approach that we should all learn from a young age, right through into our adulthood. Carries us through from our education into work and into everything that we do in our lives. So that really drives me on. That makes me feel very motivated. I get to meet and speak to young people, learn about what it is that motivates them, understand what some of the challenges are. And through our program, we're able to find solutions that can help them.
Wow, Lucy, that is so amazing to hear that you are so passionate about your work and Generation Global. So now that we have started, let's move to the one question section, which is basically that, would you rather to be known for your authenticity or for your generosity?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think being your authentic self is really important. Understanding yourself, understanding who you are, being genuine with other people. I think it allows you to engage, to be open, and to encourage authenticity from others that you are with. And we talk about open-mindedness and understanding our own identity first and foremost. And I think from that authentic position, then you can be generous and you can give love, you can share, you can do good deeds. So I think authenticity comes first and generosity then is part and parcel of that. But it's a great question.
Okay, that was amazing answer. So now we have warmed up. Let's move to the question or personal section question. Okay, which is that which strategies would you have found helpful from your recent work?
Yes, okay. Well, I've got several strategies actually. So one thing I always like to do at the start of my day is to make a to-do list. And on that list, I put all the priorities that I want to get through during the day and to be as productive as possible. So I really recommend that. What are the things you want to achieve? Another thing that I'd like to do is also to look back on the day. So at the end of the day, what are the top 3 things that I'm proud of that I felt I achieved? They can be really small things like, I had a fantastic meeting with a colleague, or I spoke to my neighbour and had a really nice interaction there, or the sun was shining and I was able to go out into the sun, and that made me feel really good. I think things like this really help to motivate us, help us to look forward and look positively. And another one is when I'm looking at my week ahead, also thinking about the top 3 priorities, because in our day-to-day lives, it's so easy to get caught up in the activities that you're doing, but really if you focus on the goal and the path you want to get to, the strategy you want to achieve, those top 3 things stay at the forefront of your mind, and you can look back on the week on the Friday or the end of your week and say, did I achieve those 3 things? And often it gives you focus and a sense of purpose at the beginning of your week.
That was a nice answer, Lucy. Okay, so my next question is that what is the best professional piece of advice you have received?
Oh, that's really good. I'm going to struggle with that, but I know that I've been given so many great pieces of professional advice. I would say if I can actually quote a famous quote, which is by Gandhi, which is, be the change you want to see in the world. And I know I've heard that from people before, and I've often thought it myself, really to be the change you want. Yeah, it says so much. It's so simple, but yet it says so much. And I think if you can live your life being part of that change and making that change happen, it's a wonderful thing.
Well, best piece of professional advice is something which can make us better. Okay, cool, Lucy. Now, I am a huge fan of empowering student voice, and I have even planned my own meetups with my fellow youth ambassadors. And the question is that you have heard Adil say students should be prepared for the future. What does this mean to you?
Yes, I mean, that's just a fantastic question. And from talking to the young people that are part of the Generation Global program, and also to hear the voices of young people activists and campaigners across the globe, as well as data from organizations like the World Economic Forum and OECD, UNESCO, all these organizations have gathered information. And I would say some of the things that I understand that young people are most concerned about are things like climate change, and really addressing it in practical ways, in ways that we can all get behind. Aspects to do with mental health and really putting it at the front of the agenda. I think living through the pandemic, a lot of young people have found that that's really been an important part, an area of their well-being that perhaps in the past in education has not been prioritised in the way that it can. And I think things like the sort of work that we do around critical thinking skills, social and emotional skills are really important, and building blocks for life. So I think a couple of those things, and also just the importance of being interconnected. We live in a global environment now, and we're so much more connected. I'm talking to you via the video. We've got lots of social media channels, we've got WhatsApp, all these different ways to connect, but we're truly understanding each other, our own identities, sharing our differences, and creating connections between people through video conferences or whatever forums are available to help us recognize and celebrate the difference that we have. I think is another area that I think young people, from what I'm hearing, are telling me is really important in this day and age.